Tell me, darling, could we run away? We could hide away by the cactus desert blue. I can see it just a mile away from this crowded place. I could lay there next to you.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of our channel, Best Freaking Friends Forever. So today we're doing another baseball movie called The Sandlot. So I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this one. This was a pretty big movie. It was released on April 7th, 1993. Opening weekend, it made $5 million, but with inflation, that's $9 million. In the U.S., it made $33 million, which is $61 million with inflation today, and worldwide it made $34 million, which is with inflation is $63 million. So and its budget was $7 million. So not bad, because I mean, opening weekend it made $5 million. So yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's not bad at all.
We talked about earlier with it being an all kids cast. Like I feel like, I mean, mostly all kids. I mean, of course you had Dennis Leary. Is that who that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like I feel like. I don't know. They did pretty good. I mean, I feel like they carried the movie well. And it is a cute movie.
It is. I like it. It's in the summer of 1962, a new kid in town is taken under the wing of a young baseball prodigy and his rowdy team, resulting in many adventures.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. They have many adventures.
Yeah, we can talk about a couple of them. One of them was Benny had hit the ball over the fence for the first time. Smalls was going to go over and get it, and they all had to like pull him down. And it was funny. I thought it was weird that Smalls was just going to go get it whenever you could tell the whole time, like when he would see that fence and like it rattling and stuff and the dog barking, he could tell he was timid and like, oh my gosh. But then whenever the ball goes over, he's like, oh, let's go. And so every time they lose the ball, they have to scrounge up 98 cents to buy a new one. And in today's dollars, it's about $8. I figured that out.
$8 for the baseball.
Yeah, which that's not, I think Tony said you can get one right now for around $5. Like one baseball is around $4 or $5. So inflation didn't hit the baseball department very hard. Thank goodness.
Fair.
Oh yeah, that scene is so gross.
Tobacco, and they have a whole ordeal with the vomiting because they rode all the rides. And I guess a fun fact for that is the vomit used in the ride scene was made from. I would puke just from this. It's made from split pea soup, baked beans, oatmeal, a little water, and some movie gel. And they used paint guns to discharge it. And they actually nailed a few people in real life by accident. And the chewing tobacco was made from beef jerky and licorice.
Yeah, you can get, I don't know if you can get any more, but I know a long time ago you can get beef jerky that was shredded like tobacco.
Mm-hmm. I think I do remember that too. We never bought any, but yeah.
Yeah, my brother would get it. It was actually really good. It had good flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that scene, like when they did the tobacco, I was like, because I've never seen this movie. So when they were doing the tobacco, I was like, oh no, these kids are going to get sick. Like I knew it. I knew it was coming because, well, I have a story where we had a boy on our bus that chewed and he sat on the back seat and he had fallen asleep and he had swallowed it, threw up all over the back of the bus. And of course, with it being in the back, the bus driver was able to spray it out fairly easily with a water hose. But that smell was on there for a couple of days. Yeah, it was like we had to keep the windows down. Thank goodness it was warm out and we were able to keep the windows down. We were mad at that boy for doing that. Why? He was underage. He shouldn't have been having.
Yeah, and he didn't choke.
Yeah. Well, for one, he was underage. He shouldn't even have had tobacco products. Go to the pool. Well, they do the tree house because whenever the ball goes over the fence.
Well, they have their little sleepover. Yeah.
Yeah, they do the tree house. And what's his name? Squints it. Squincy? Is that what they call him? Squints. Yeah, Squints.
Yeah. Or yeah. Yeah, Ham Porter.
Yeah.
Which is my favorite. I love him. He's so funny.
Which one?
Ham Porter, the one, you're killing me, Smalls.
Oh, yeah. Tony has a shirt that has his face and it says, you're killing me, Smalls. Or killing me, Smalls, or something like that. But yeah, so Squints tells this horror story of this dog who guarded a landfill, basically, like junkyard. The dog had guarded a junkyard and was murdering people, right? Yeah.
He was on a rampage. He got loose, so they made him. They tied him up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And told him he wasn't allowed to service the junkyard anymore. And he had him, even had him terrified of the owner of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then the owner that was like in the little black and white film wasn't the owner that we see at the end.
That's the crazy thing. I was like, what? Well, and I like how they did the forever, and it's like really slow, like in slow motion.
Multiple times too.
Multiple times, yeah.
Yeah. And then they go to the pool. That was one adventure they had. And Squints, he loves Wendy. Yes. He loves Wendy Peppercorn. Well, all the boys are really liking what they see, but him especially. And he's just like, I can't take it anymore. And he jumps into the deep end. And she pulls him out and was giving him the Heimlich, which I was bothered by that because she wasn't even doing chest compressions. She was only breathing in his mouth.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's not, I've taken a few CPR classes. That's not the proper way to do that. And they're like, they're all really getting worried. And then he finally winks at him.
And they're like, what?
Yeah, and he kisses her. Of course, she kicks him out. Well, that was something else too. They were like, they kicked us out forever. And I told Tony, because Tony said something about it. He's like, yeah, they can't go back. I was like, well, to kids, it probably did feel like forever. They probably were, I would say they probably let him come back at least after she was done being a lifeguard.
Well, they said she'd wave to him and smile at him. And like, I guess with that scene, a fun fact or whatever is that David Mickey Evans, the director, had one clear instruction for the guy that played Squints, Chauncey Leopardi, during the pool scene with his kisses, or when he kisses Wendy, and he says, keep your tongue in your mouth. Like, that was his only direction. I mean, can you imagine telling a kid, to keep, the kissing scene, to keep your tongue in your mouth?
They lose another ball, and Smalls is like, oh, I have a ball. Like, I'll go get it. So he goes, and it's his stepfather's Babe Ruth. And I think it's funny that he's like, a woman signed that ball. Baby Ruth. Ruth baby.
Because they play with it before they all look at it. Like, no one seems to look at the ball to see that signature is on it before they hit it. And then Smalls is the one that hits it over the fence. So he actually gets a home run. So they're all like, good job, go you. And then he's like, no, I've got to get it back.
Yeah. Well, that little boy, I mean, he's a good actor. He does some really intense scenes really well.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when he was saying my dad, or he's going to kill me, when he asked, there's that. Well, because that was the third time they'd lost the ball, right? Because the first time was when Benny hit it over. Mm-hmm. Then Benny annihilated the ball and got the insides out.
Yeah, and that's what made him have to get, that's why he had to go get the Babe Ruth ball.
So then they bring that one over, and then I don't know, they automatically get, and this is when the fun starts, is when they start getting all these different ways to get the ball back. Mm-hmm. Like all these covert ways.
Yep. Yeah, and poor Smalls, he just he's coming up with all these inventions to get it and cannot. And then him and Benny have a dream. Mm-hmm. But we see Benny's dream. We don't see Smalls' dream. I think Smalls just talks about his, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Then, and Benny has a dream that it was Shoeless Joe, right? Had come.
I think it was Babe Ruth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Babe Ruth.
Think, right? Which is funny because that guy played in our last movie that we did too. He plays Babe Ruth.
Yep, and so Benny the next day wakes up Smalls and was like, come on. And he's like, I'm going to go over the fence. And then that's whenever we lead off with the chase. The dog's chasing him the whole time through the whole town. And
then they do it. Yeah, they end up back at the house.
Mm-hmm. And knock the fence down. And that's and that's whenever the dog gets hurt. And Smalls, that's another scene where he just does really good in, is he's like, help me. And I'm sitting there like, part of me's like, yeah, help the dog. But the other part's like, that dog just tried to kill Benny. But I thought that was I love that moment because the dog's chasing. Smalls helps, and it's like the dog knows, like, okay, you helped me, I'm gonna be nice to you now. And he shows him all the balls that they've tossed over.
Well, he licks him in the face too. Like Smalls is thinking he's going to get his face, or ripped off, and really.
Well, the size of the dog compared to Smalls, that dog was like twice the size almost as Smalls.
Well, it was an English. Yeah, it's an English Mastiff, I think.
Yeah. What else was it? Oh, and that's whenever they knock on the door, the back door. Because earlier Squints had told him it is out of the question to go knock on the door and ask for the ball back. That's out of the question. The guy's meaner than the dog. That's basically what he said. James Earl Jones, his character was like, why didn't you just knock on the door? I would have got it for you.
And they all start hitting him.
I would have been mad too. Like, we did all of this. Benny got chased all because you told us he was mean. And I love that moment too, where he takes Smalls and Benny into the house.
Yep.
Oh, I just love that. And he pulls out that ball and takes it, and he's like, here, I'll trade you. And of course the stepdad was bad, but he only got grounded for 2 weeks instead of a lifetime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a different, yeah.
Oh, when you talk about the black eye, when him and the stepdad are tossing ball back and forth.
Which I think is another good acting scene for Smalls, because the way he acts in that scene and acts really like he knows nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a really good acting scene for him too. But yeah, he gets hit in the face with the ball and he's like, but I caught it. Or he's like, but he did catch it.
Yep. Well, that's how you learn.
He puts a steak on it, and the mom's like, get ice, and he puts that steak on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like Benny saying, just put your glove in the air and I'll do the rest. I just really like that Benny really did take him under his wing and help him out and let him be a part of the group.
Yep, I like that bond between them. And I guess in order to establish that bond between Smalls and Benny, the director had the two get together meet and rehearse together for weeks before the rest of the kids showed up. And it worked so well that the other kids genuinely did believe that they had been big friends for a long time.
Mm. Well, kids are just so innocent. They can click so quickly. I mean, I've seen it with one-to-one daycare. I can see two kids, like, if just instantly create a bond within minutes. And you would think that they had been around each other for a lifetime. Kids are just so cool like that. Like, us adults could learn a lot from them.
But it is cool how Benny does give him a second chance, or, gives him a chance even after because the first time he goes to the field, it's a disaster for him. He leaves crying. And, the mom keeps pushing him to make friends, and Benny does kind of, take him under his wing. And it's nice.
He gives him a hat, gives him a glove. He's like, just keep it. And, like, Smalls just thinks it's the greatest thing ever.
He actually teaches him to throw.
Mm-hmm.
He teaches him to throw. He teaches him to catch, essentially. And then, it works with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the description says he was a prodigy. So, I mean, it was just in him to be like that. Oh, and at the end where Benny's playing and Smalls is commentating, I love that too.
That's pretty cool how
And they look at each other, and I'm like, it's so cool that they stayed friends all those years.
Yep. Which that's another cool fact too. The older brother, so the guy that plays Benny when he's older is actually the real Benny's older brother.
Oh,
like
cool.
Mike Vitar. Yeah, Mike Vitar's older brother, Pablo, played the older brother. And I never thought, I was like, man, he doesn't even look like, but looking at it this time, he really does kind of look, they look like they're siblings, and I never realized that before. But yeah, it's his older brother that's playing the older him in that
nice.
movie.
That's so neat. I like when they do things like that, because it really does help. Because I was like, oh, that would look like him now that you say that. Because that would look like Benny if he was older.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize he was that much older, but I guess he is. Well, the ham Porter. So Porter's famous line, "You're killing me, Smalls," is a paraphrase of the famous quote, "They're killing me out there, Whitey," spoken by Denver Broncos coach Lou Saban. The line was also paraphrased in previous year in another baseball-themed film, A League of Their Own. James Earl Jones shows the boys a photo of himself with Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Of course, it is a retouch photo. Jones' head was put on the body of a Hall of Fame slugger, Jimmy Fox, who was a real player picture with Ruth and Gehrig. The real photo can be seen in many baseball books. This movie was shot in 42 days, which I guess a lot of them were really hot days, because I guess in the scene where they were where Benny was getting chased, Smalls actually got sick. He had to stop for a little bit because he ended up getting, it was super hot in those days, I guess, when they were filming.
That was The Sandlot. First time I'd ever seen it. Fell in love with it. It's a good movie. I'll probably watch it again at some point. Tony owns it because he loves this movie. But yeah, it's fine. It's a good summer movie about kids just having fun, and kids don't have fun like that nowadays. Like, I'm terrified to send my kids out alone. Like, I just couldn't. I could not just send go play like his mom did.
Yeah.
There's no way. I'd be like, oh my gosh, somebody will kidnap you on your way to the park. I watch too much true crime, I guess, for me to be quite comfortable. But yeah, those were the days when you could send your kids out and go play and just be kids.
Yep, let them play till dark.
Yep. So let us know down below what you think of this movie. Is it your favorite? Do you hate it? Too many inconsistencies? Who cares? It's a good movie. So definitely let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, I am Tiffany. This is my BFFF Shelley. Join us next time, friends, for another great episode.